wish each and every one of you out there in all the different time zones and all the different countries, and as part of this information explosion that we're happening right here on YouTube, I want to wish everybody peace, power, prosperity, but most of all love to you and your families. Again, this is Dr. Z, Z-I-L-N-D. The website is drzhealingarts.com. YouTube channel, as you well know already, is youtube.com/Total Life Center. And I represent a form of healing that we've now just simplified into Total Life. Please see my video prior to this. This video will focus on weight loss. There is a epidemic of obesity in this country. Not only is it an epidemic, but this epidemic of obesity is causing an epidemic of all kinds of sickness. But again, is obesity the problem? Yes and no. It's never that simple. For those of you that are interested in weight loss, and when I was out in Vegas this past weekend, actually a couple weekends ago, I went to a seminar on hypnosis, and I'll get into that seminar in another video and talk about hypnosis, the sleepwalkers, the hypnosis of life. That's a whole nother ball game that we really are going to have to touch. But when I went there, overwhelmingly I'm handing out the business cards, promoting the website, promoting the YouTube channel, and it was just obvious that the people are just suffering from just being overweight. I mean, when you're overweight, you can have diabetes, you can have renal problems, you can have digestive problems. You're going to have all these, by the way, eventually. Thyroid problems, hypothalamus problems, problems with movement, problems with joint pain. So you're living in chronic pain, please go see the article on living in chronic pain and what to do about it. We'll call them the silent sufferers, all right? And now folks are not so silent anymore. They want pain medications. They go to the doctor and they're given, first of all, they're given non-steroidal anti-inflammatories usually as the first go around. We now know that non-steroidal anti-inflammatories used in the long run actually cause more joint damage. They don't help the joints. Number two, it is palliative treatment, i.e. symptomatic treatment. And as well, we know from other videos that I've done, we are in a system of allopathic medicine that has its strengths and has its weaknesses. No, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We take the best from all the world's, the healing arts that we have to offer. Allopathic is part of the healing arts, but we've gone a little bit nuts because now that is the dominant and predominant system of medicine that's practiced in this country. And if you don't wake up, if you don't get out of your state of ignorance, you're going to be taken advantage of by the system. Your goal should be become your own healer. Your goal should be to take personal responsibility for your own health. Your job should be to fight against your own ignorance. My job is to fight against ignorance. That's what I do. I'm a professional ignorance fighter. So, hey, and I love it. That's what I do every day. I get up, I go to work, and work is about fighting against ignorance. And I've become now the ultimate educator as far as physicians are concerned in terms of educating patients. See, doctors should be educators, not partial educators, full educators. So full so that the patient is so charged up with energy and knowledge and ultimately wisdom that they don't need you anymore. How about that? Anyway, weight loss, the term weight loss should never be mentioned again if you are in fact trying to lose fat. We should call it fat reduction, but even that should never be used again. You should never get on a scale if you're trying to, quote, lose fat. You should never worry about what you actually weigh. What you should be focused on is optimum health, obtaining optimum, maximum total health. Why? Because in that process, you will do things that will naturally take the pounds off and take those fat pounds off, especially in those problem areas. So, what should we be doing? We should not focus on weight loss. And if you're truly obese, if you're truly overweight, if you want to drop a few pounds, we cannot focus on how much you weigh. You cannot focus on getting on the scale ever again. Don't get on the scale. That's a fool's game. This is not how you get healthy by focusing on weight loss, because once you start to focus on weight loss, You then start to cut corners, you start to count calories, you start to do calorie restrictions, you start to do low calorie or so-called low fat food intake. These programs around here today that are so-called low fat, and the low fat milks and all this other nonsense, and the low fat lasagna, and you can buy the frozen low fat this and that. People, please, it's not the way. So what is the way? The way is the way I've been talking about for the last few videos, so let's continue. The way is to counteract your own buildup of toxicity. Where does the toxicity come from? It comes from the stuff you put on your skin. It comes from the stuff that you eat, from what you breathe, from the food. It's coming from all over the place. Over 800,000 plus chemicals now in use every day. Pesticides being sprayed. A lot of these things have an estrogenic effect, which puts fat on you. Okay? So some of you have a genetic sensitivity to fat. What else do we talk about when we're talking about optimal health and, quote, losing fat? We should even change it to fat release, and I'll explain to you why that is. We should talk about the thalamus, which is your thermostat for your fat set, i.e. for how much fat your body actually holds on to. We need to talk about toxins because the body is very smart. It will take these toxins that you're putting into your body, and if they are fat soluble, and a lot of them are very fat soluble, it will store the fat soluble toxins, get them out of the bloodstream as quickly as it can, out of the system as quickly as it can, and store them in the fat. As a matter of fact, if you're eating dead meat products and you're not eating grass-fed, 100% organic meats, then your quickest way of reducing your toxic load is not to eat the fat of the meat, because that's where the animals, they themselves will store the fat. However, I'm going to go a step further and tell you probably, if you want to get healthy, your intake of animal proteins has to come way down. Gone are the days where you build a meal around your protein. Gone are the days where you build your meal around veal, even fish, chicken, steaks, you name it. We no longer build a meal around dead flesh. Now, some people are going to say, well, he's a vegetarian, he's a proponent of vegetarianism. No, not really. I myself eat a little bit of organic chicken every once in a while. I myself, once a week at least, probably will eat some wild-caught, fresh, never frozen, and never defrosted, and certainly never farm-raised salmon, which is my favorite. Why? Because it's packed full of omega-3 fatty acids, which actually aids in weight loss, it aids in mobility, it aids in treating the joints. And remember, if you're overweight, you're going to have extended pressure on the joints. Extended pressure on the joints for years is going to lead to degenerative arthritis, pain, and then you're going to start down that medical path of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. Motrin is an example. There are many more. Then you're going to start down the Vicodin, hydrocodone, and all the opiates. And then now you're addicted to that, and then they send you to a pain clinic, and then they're doing surgery on it, and then they're doing knee replacement, back replacements, and none of it is taking care of the real problem, right? And then they tell you lose weight. Excuse me, that ain't the problem. The problem again is toxic acidosis. The problem again is not having your mind focus where it needs to be focused. Again, there's a distraction, and the real issue never comes to the light of day. So my job is to bring the real issues to the light of day. So we talked about, now we must talk about the insulin response. And I don't want to get too technical, but folks, these are things, if you don't know about them, you got to do a little bit of research, okay? I can't spoon feed you everything. If you eat high glycemic foods, and by the way, fruits are not high glycemic foods unless you make fruit juices. And I never recommend naked fruit juices. My friend Marshall Silva got sick. He was one of the main presenters at the hypnosis seminar, and I saw him pull out some watermelon juice, and I said, "Oh no!" And then he said he was going to go home and get a nice pork chop from his wife, and I'm sure it was loving. So just the fact that it was loving actually probably gave him some health benefit. But when you get sick, and this was a cold, a rhinovirus, upper respiratory congestion, you never drink fruit juices. You always eat the fruits in there as close to as nature intended it, or you can make a smoothie, i.e. you blend it together but you don't take out any of the fiber, and you can have that, and that will eventually boost up your immune system, clean out the congestion. Fruits do a wonderful job. Notice I didn't say anything about vegetables yet. They do a wonderful job of cleansing, detoxifying, decongesting, and healing you. So that's what he should have done. I gave him my business card, told him if he ever needed me, that I would be willing to help him for free. This is a guy who's dynamic. I'd like to see him healthy again. I'd like to see him, 100% dynamic, helping as many people as he can. So those of you who I determined are really, really helping masses of people, I'm there for you. But short of that, then I have to make these videos because that's the only way for me to reach the masses of people. Of course, I'll do talks, I'll do radio talk shows, I'll do short television appearances, and I'll do the internet radio as well as the satellite and local regional radio. But again, all that takes time, all that takes a lot of effort, and it takes a team to get me out there in front. So even though I may be the front man, there's always a team behind me. So back to the weight loss. High glycemic foods like pasta, breads, white flour, sugar, especially sugar that's been processed sugars. All this stuff shoots the insulin level up. Insulin is involved in reducing the blood levels of glucose, i.e. the sugar in your blood, but it's also very much involved in fat metabolism, so it will actually help you store the sugar, and it helps you store it in a form called glycogen, which is stored in your muscles and your liver, so you can get a quick burst of sugar when you need it. If you're doing something aerobic exercise, you're running, etc., now your body will go ahead and tap into that glycogen, which is nothing but stored glucose. But what is the second way that the body will store glucose? Well, once it reaches its glycogen capacity, or where it can't store any more glycogen, it will now start to put it in the form of fat. So insulin, you don't want your insulin spiking up and down, because eventually it's going to go and start storing this as fat. Your thalamus, hypothalamus, located in the brain by the pituitary. There's the pineal gland there as well as the pituitary gland. These are extremely important glands, but your hypothalamus really is the set point for your fat intake. So this is why, or your fat stasis, I should say. And what I mean by that is, if you're at a certain weight, let's just say, for example, you're 250 pounds, man or woman, doesn't matter, and then you lose weight rapidly. You go on a 500 calorie restricted diet, like that recommended by, Kevin Trudeau, and the weight loss cures they don't want you to know about. If you go on a 500 calorie restricted diet, you're going to lose weight. Now, he was recommending HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG injections, which is something that we've known about for many, many years. I can't remember the doctor's name right now. It starts with S, Dr. Simmons, or it just escapes me right now, I'm sorry, but he came up with this protocol, and then Kevin jumped on it, put it in his book, and yeah, if you can go on a 500 calorie restricted diet, you probably don't have a weight problem to begin with, because it takes a lot of discipline, willpower to be able to do that day after day after day. We're talking 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, etc. And then with the HCG shots, apparently you don't have the cravings, you don't get the irritability, you don't get the, and also you're getting the reset of the hypothalamus, so that your fat stasis, in other words, it's reset so your body lets go or releases the fat stores. especially in the problem areas where your body tends to store it. Abdominal areas, inner thighs, buttocks, under the arms here, and even in the face and neck sometimes. So, cheeks. So, if you eat high glycemic index foods, you're going to spike your insulin. I don't recommend anybody count calories. So again, we get rid of the scales, we don't talk about weight loss, and we don't count calories. So what do? We do what we always do. We do what Mother Nature's always prescribed from the beginning, is we look and see what she's serving up to her primates. Why primates? Again, as a student of zoology, a student of the human body, having studied the anatomy of many different types of animals, including dinosaurs, by the way, going all the way back into antiquity, all the way into the present. We are primates. We have the digestive system of primates. We have the teeth structure of primates. And what do primates eat? What does Mother Nature prescribe for primates? Fruits. So what does it mean? We are frugivores or fruitarians. So, what's the next logical step? The next logical step is we better be eating a ton of fruits. Matter of fact, your meal should be centered around fruits and not protein and dead flesh. Again, I didn't say you have to go vegetarian, but if you want to get this so-called fat burning process going, right? And also the thyroid gland, be aware that it sets the basal metabolic rate, i.e. the rate that your body burns calories at rest. And most of us now, because of the fluoride in the water, and the fluoride in the toothpaste, and the phytates from all the soy that you take in, please don't eat soy if you're trying to release weight. In fact, don't eat soy at all. Bad food. Don't eat corn at all. Bad food. Most of it's genetically modified, most of it's not good for you, and most of it will pack pounds onto you. High fructose corn syrup is also one of those things that just spike up your blood sugar. Even the agave nectar that everybody's talking about right now, that's a sugar substitute. No, I only know one sugar substitute that doesn't spike insulin. That's pure raw cane sugar, taken in small amounts, raw organic honey, taken in small amounts, or stevia. Those should be your sugar substitutes if you need sugar. But the main thing is the primates are frugivores. So we must then look at least starting a 90-day program. And I'll be coming up with a 90-day detoxification program that involves the raw food diet. What is the raw food diet? The raw food diet is simply the diet that Mother Nature prescribes to most of her land-based animals. 95% of all land-based animals are already naturally on a raw food diet. They don't walk up to the store and buy food. They get it from the land. A raw food diet. They don't cook their food. They don't drink the milk of other animals. A raw food diet. That's your berries, your melons, your fruits, your strawberries, your blueberries, your blackberries, your cantaloupes, your honeydew melons, your watermelons, I think I said that, your, what else, apples, pineapples, peaches, pears, lemons, limes. Yes, lemon and limes now are great detoxifiers. Yes, initially it has an acidic effect on the body, and we're trying to combat what? Toxic acidosis. For those of you who do not know what toxic acidosis is, please go to my website, read Living in Pain Part 1 and Part 2. It's really about understanding what toxic acidosis is. So if you understand what toxic acidosis is, which is a buildup of toxic waste through pesticides, and also remember, we take in toxins, but we also produce toxins as a result of our metabolic functions. The cells take in nutrients, use it as energy, and then they excrete the toxins themselves, or waste. And that waste has to be moved. The waste is usually moved by your lymphatic system, which is like your untalked about circulatory system, but 70% of all your fluids are in the lymphatic system. So it's another channel, like a circulatory system, just like your blood system, your arteries and veins. Well, you have lymph channels as well, and they get pumped along usually by muscular contractions, by movement, but the lymph goes, and the lymph usually will dump right straight into the kidneys. Some of it will dump back into the colon. There's extensive lymphatic channels in the colon. We have extensive lymphatic channels in the breast, which is why if you have a lot of toxic acidosis, your breasts become very susceptible to cancer because of the extensive lymphatic channel found in a woman's breast. And of course, all the toxins, and all the electromagnetic radiation. What's the other thing that we should be looking at when we want to release fat? Again, raw food diet, 75% fruits, 25% vegetables. Now, how do I take most of my vegetables? I take most of my vegetables in the form of green drinks. Will I make a salad? Yeah, I'll have a salad a couple of days a week, and I make my own salad dressing. If you go to the store and buy the salad dressing and pour it on a good organic salad, you've ruined it. Please hand make your own salads. Go on YouTube, go get some of Dan McDonald's videos, the Life Regenerator. He's got some stuff about how to make salad dressing, but it doesn't take a genius. Get some of your basic oils, some vinegar, make a vinaigrette, get lemon, limes, oranges, get some ginger juice going, get some garlic, a little bit of curcumin or turmeric, put that in there, mix it up, get a little bit of organic, it's called veganese, but it's basically an organic blend. It kind of gives it a little thickness, and put the oils and hemp oil is very good, olive oil, avocado oil, all good, flaxseed oil, all good. So you mix those together and you have yourself a nice salad dressing. But be creative. Just don't put the stuff that you buy in the store. I don't care if it does say organic. It's junk. A lot of it's full of soy and MSG anyway. So don't use the salad dressing from the store. Make your own. It takes a couple of minutes. But most of mine come from green drinks. So again, the fruits, the veggies. For me, it means green drinks, because that's how things. I can't eat enough salad to sustain the green that I need, even to make up the 25%, 75% balance I'm having between fruits and vegetables. But remember, I'm always eating a lot more fruits. I always start my day with fruits. Middle of the day, I'm eating fruits, and usually at nighttime, when I want my body to go through the process of regeneration, I'll start with the vegetable, the green drinks in the evening. And a lot of times, 1 32 ounce green drink, that's it. My mind is not centered around food. It is centered around ultimate health, not food. It is not centered around weight loss. It's not centered around what am I having for dinner today. I already know what I'm having. Raw food. That's it. So what you need to do is do an experiment. Raw food diet, 90 days. In the process, I'm writing up the 90-day detox program, Project Detox. That will help you incorporate the raw food diet along with some herbs. Again, we're always cleaning, we're always in a detoxifying mode. And remember, you can't go on a 21-day detox and think that it's doing something. Unless you've been detoxing your whole life, then you turn it up a notch for 21 days. But for most of you, you go get an herbal program for 21 days and then go right back to that standard American diet. It's not going to do it. You cannot drop poundage while your body's in a toxic state. Why? Because your body is storing the toxins. So if you give yourself a clean system, i.e. a cleansed, detoxified system, now your body says, oh, looky here. We can start dumping these toxins back into the system because it's clean and it's being carried out by the body's sanitation department, i.e. the skin, lungs, also where waste products come out of, the colon, and of course the kidneys, the urinary system. So once that is back online, back in balance, now this is going to get your endocrine system back online, back on balance. And what's going to happen is you'll find yourself naturally dropping pounds of fat. It is fat release. It is not weight loss. Again, get out of the thinking of weight loss, because that is going to assure your failure. That's why we have an epidemic of obesity, even though we have an epidemic of weight loss clinics. And everything from growth hormone shots to testosterone shots to this shot to that shot to this cheat way and cross diagonal here to get over. There's no getting over. There's no cheating Mother Nature. Get with the program. Mother Nature's already prescribed it. Raw food diet. 75% fruits, 25% veggies. You want me to give you some of the veggies that I use? I'll give you some of the veggies. We talked about some of the fruits. Of course, the fruits, you have to get them in season, depending where you live. I'm in Southern California, so we have fruits year round. But the veggies, kale, powerful. Cilantro, powerful. Parsley, powerful. And when I'm building a juice, I build it usually from the bottom up, so I'll use some roots like sunchokes, powerful, nice, evener of the insulin response, so it keeps the spikes down to a minimum. But of course, if you're eating a raw food diet, you're not going to have the spikes anyway. But I found that if you really want to really start melting this fat off of your body, these sunchokes are excellent. So sunchokes, ginger, and I will always use turmeric root, the real turmeric root itself, and put it in my green drink. I'll usually use lemon and lime because they are stabilizers, so they keep everything. If I'm not going to drink it all at once, if I make 64 ounces, maybe I drink 16 at a time. So I put it in the refrigerator. You need a preservative, the vitamin C in the or the bioflavonoids. As I say, we shouldn't even mention vitamin C, because vitamin C is part of a bioflavonoid complex. Most vitamins are part of a complex, and we take them out of the complex and start gobbling them down and think we're doing ourselves some good. Stop killing yourself. Super supplement course is already done. As soon as I get a new webmaster to connect everybody who signed up for it to the password link, then you'll have the super supplement course. It's good and ready to go. But short of that, even if you never signed up for the super supplement course, I'm going to do a series of videos anyway on super supplements, so you're going to have a video parts of that anyway. I mean, I don't just say, hey, if you don't sign up on my website for the super supplement course, then you're shit out of luck. No, that's not the way it works. I'm here on a mission. My mission is to educate. My mission is to fight against ignorance. I'm going to share it with everybody eventually. Now, can I keep giving stuff away? Yes, for a while I can, but eventually I have to charge people for the work that I'm doing. But for now, take advantage. Everything is free on the website. Videos obviously are all free. There are no private videos, unless it's just a bad video that I was practicing, and so I just made it private. But short of that, everything's free. Okay, what's another big issue in weight loss? Because I did talk about the mind, and that's the stress hormone axis. If you're under a tremendous amount of stress, you're not handling stress well, be it job stress, financial stress, relationship stress, toxic relationships are killer as far as weight loss is concerned. And you'll see some people lose weight when they're under stress, and some people gain a ton of weight when they're under stress. It all depends on your personality, and also some of it depends on your genetics. But eventually, most people slow down when they get depressed. The thyroid becomes sluggish when you get depressed. The adrenal glands don't function right. The insulin response is not as well, or is not as sharp as it should be. And of course, your immune system gets sluggish too. So there's a lot of things that happen with stress. Your body starts making a lot of chemicals. It's the cortisols. Again, this is I don't want to get too technical again, but cortisol is a hormone that's made by the adrenal gland that also is involved in fat and sugar metabolism. And if your body's constantly making a lot of cortisol, you're going to store fat. So stress is another thing that we must bring under control if we are to have any success in optimum health and burning off the fat. Remember, the fat, especially those stubborn pounds that don't seem to come off no matter what you do, no matter how much you starve yourself, it's not coming off, folks, if your body is toxic. It can't. Now, if you go to extreme dieting, will it come off? Yes, it will. But then you've probably lost the weight too quickly, and you've not addressed the fat thermostat within your brain, the hypothalamus, right? So that doesn't have a chance to reset like it should. And of course, boom, not only do you gain the weight back, but it's almost like a spring effect. You gain it back and then some. Because the body's sensing that you're in calorie restriction. It's saying that, hey, you're going below what the threshold should be. So we got to pull you back, and then we got to bounce you up some more, and then you end up fatter than what you were. So you end up gaining more weight. Again, don't worry about the scales. Don't worry about, because listen, if you're getting healthy, you're going to be doing some exercise. If you can, figure out what it is that you like to do and do it. The body must be moved. Get sunlight is extremely important. Remember, the fruits are so important because of the exposure to the sunlight and that sun energy that you're then putting into your body. So, weight loss is no longer the issue. Optimum health is the issue, and I've given you some tidbits. Again, I'll probably have to do a part 2 with this on how to approach losing pounds. Folks, it's an epidemic. This epidemic is reflected in type 2 diabetes, and you almost always see type 2 diabetes in people who are obese or people who have been drinking a lot and will damage their pancreas, which makes insulin from the alcohol. Also, there's type 1 diabetes, but that usually starts, that's childhood diabetes, and that's different than insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is when your body actually makes insulin, but the cells themselves are not responding to the hormone because of something else that's being made by the fat cells themselves to produce insulin resistance, and therefore your body stores even more fat. It becomes a vicious cycle, and it's a lot of unnecessary suffering. 90-day raw food diet. Once you start seeing the beauty of a raw food diet, and you also see the conscious benefits, i.e. the creativity goes up. It seems like you can handle stress better. It seems like you have solutions to problems that you didn't have before. You're sleeping deeper. Remember what I said in the video, The Elements of Health. By the way, part 2 of that is coming. I did 5. I have 5 more elements to cover. But I thought this was extremely important because I just saw too many people suffering. So I said, let's make something on weight loss. And a lot of people come to me and say, hey, do something on weight loss. But remember, don't talk about weight loss. We're talking about optimum health, maximizing your health, total life health. We don't worry about weight loss. We worry about getting healthy. In the process of getting healthy, with the use of a raw food diet, with the use of some herbs if you're going through a detoxification program. And remember, the raw food diet in and of itself is naturally detoxifying as long as you're eating it organic. You can eat as much fruits that you want. Your satiation is going to cut you off at some point anyway. And it's not the type of things that really pack on fat. It's actually a detoxifying diet that pulls toxins out, allows your body then to dump the toxins that are stored in the fat back out, then release the fat as you're dumping the toxins back out. You don't hear about this stuff in allopathic medicine, right? But this is really in the field of naturopathic medicine, but it's scientific, it's common sense, it's easy to figure out, there's science to back it up. Raw food diet is the superior diet. Again, do I say you have to become 100% raw food diet for the rest of your life? No, most of you can't do it. Did I say you should consider as much raw food as you can handle? Most of us, that's between 80% to 90% of raw food diet, and then we're allowed to play with the last 10 or 20%. Okay, but even that last 10 or 20%, you be smart with that. Okay, but the first 90 days, you want to go on a raw food diet. That's 90 days. Sounds like a long time to some of you. Listen, you got a choice. Raw food diet, 90 days. Then you're going to use your intuition, your common sense, and I'm going to do follow-up videos and continue to guide and coach you, or you can suffer. And trust me, the longer you're obese, the more you will suffer and suffer. The sicker and sicker you will get. Diabetes, then blindness, then renal problems, then renal dialysis, cardiovascular disease, the list goes on and on. This is a cascade of negativity that we can stop just by getting educated, going on a raw food diet, stop focusing on weight loss. You want to focus on optimum, maximum, total life health. This is the key to burning off the fat. Get yourself some sunlight, lower the stress. If you're in a bad relationship, it's going to be very difficult to lose weight. If you're under a tremendous amount of pressure and stress, you either learn how to cope with it better or you take yourself out of the situation. But you cannot, it's very difficult to lose weight when you're constantly under pressure, constantly under stress, unless you've learned how to handle it properly. Now, I'm constantly under pressure, constantly under stress, but it bounces off of me because I know how to handle it now. The responsibilities that I have, what I've gone through in terms of my training, it's super, super stressful. I've had injuries that caused me to gain weight because I wasn't smart enough then, and I hadn't done my naturopathic training. Remember, that was the second part of my medical career. The first part was straight allopathic medicine, just like most of the other doctors do, and I was doing the ignorant things just like most of our allopathic fellows do. By the way, these are not bad people. They are mostly well-intentioned people. Most of them are my friends. I know they're good people. They have good hearts. But again, tunnel vision, and they're in their own hypnosis of life, which is why I went to the hypnosis seminar, because I wanted to learn about hypnosis, how that works, how you go in and out of trances, and how really media manipulation works to keep us in a trance, to keep us programmed. That's very fascinating. Very fascinating. Remember, we're all victim to it every single day. So if you're not aware of the programming and then reprogramming yourself for positivity instead of fear, again, stress really is about fear. And fear really is the mind destroyer, but it's also the body destroyer. All right, also the relationship destroyer. So again, we have to really bring fear and stress down to a manageable level if you want to drop the fat. Okay, so we're going to talk about weight release or fat release. No longer getting on the scales, no longer counting the calories. Makes no sense to count the calories. It's the quality of the calories that we're going to get primarily from what Mother Nature has always prescribed for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years for her primates. A raw food diet. Ain't no animal going to the store buying its food. Mother Nature serves it up free of charge. No animal drinking the milk of another animal. Most animals don't go around killing other animals. They certainly don't go munching on dead flesh, and even the ones that do, i.e., if you go on Animal Channel, you always see what these carnivores do when they rip open a animal like a antelope or something. They always eat the stomach contents because that's where the vegetables are. And so they themselves know that the best bang for their buck is to eat the intestinal content. I know it sounds a little gory, because that's where the vegetable content is. They can't digest it themselves, but they can eat it if it's partially digested by the vegetarians of the world. And that's what 95% of most land-based animals are. We're either vegetarians, fruitarians, or a combination, but usually they're one or the other. Human beings are the only ones who think that they're omnivores. Really, if you went on a 100% fruit diet, you probably would do yourself no harm. But I like the combination of the fruits and the vegetables. But again, 75% fruits, 25% vegetables. That is the raw food diet. YouTube has some other great teachers about the raw food diet. Go educate yourself. I cannot be your only educator. You must really take in an abundance of knowledge. Get focused, folks. Get focused. Have intention. Have discipline to really take control of your health back to you. All right? This is what it means to be free. It's to be 100% personal responsible. To number one, be responsible for the consequences. You do not blame other people. You do not bitch and cry about things that have gone wrong. If you put your health in the hands of somebody else, you got nobody to blame but yourself. Okay? The system of allopathic medicine has some great things that it can do, and I've talked about that in other videos, and it has some dastardly things that it can do because it only sees things one way, right? Symptoms, medication, surgery, symptom suppression, disease management, and there's nothing about wellness, nothing about staying well. You have high blood pressure, you get that taken care of in 30 days or less. Why are you running around with high blood pressure for 30 days? Get on the raw food diet. You'll find a lot more gets right than just weight release or fat release. A lot will start going right. Teeth get brighter, vision is better, hearing is better, nails, quality of hair, everything gets better as you take care of this toxic acidosis with the raw food diet, which is Mother Nature's natural detoxifying diet. And then if you want to expound or accelerate the detoxification, which will likely accelerate your weight release, and you can use certain herbs, and I'll talk about that in the super supplement course. And then like I said, I'm going to make videos on supplements and how to take supplements properly, how to put them together properly, whether you sign up on the website or not. I probably will come out with a DVD about that. I probably will come out with a DVD or audio, CD, or combination on the 90-day Project Detox. That's going to be rather intense, so stay tuned for that. But again, for those of you who can't afford it, you're having trouble right now. And by the way, if you're having trouble affording a $50 DVD that's set for you and for your health and your well-being, and it's coming to you from somebody who's been on both sides of the system, the allopathic and the naturopathic system, if you can't afford $50, and I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, I'm just using that as just a number. If you can't afford it, then you're missing part of that peace, power, prosperity, and love quadrilogy that I always talk about. You got to go work on prosperity. You got to go open up that creativity. You got to go plug in to something positive. You got to plug into your dream. You got to plug into what you're passionate about. You got to plug into your soul mission. You've got to execute the thing that turns you on, that makes you happy, and you find a way to monetize it. I don't care if it's a job working for someone else, or you're starting your own business, or you're doing a thing. I had a guy today in my office, and I asked him, what's his dream? What does he want to do? He's 25 years old. He's not doing anything. What do you want to do with yourself? He said, I want to be a rock star, but I don't think it's possible. I said, well, you want to be a rock star. Okay, what are you doing to be a rock star? I mean, there are rock stars out there, so obviously people can become rock stars. I said, but what you're seeing in a form of a rock star, you're seeing a master. And I said, you're playing the guitar, so you're seeing master guitarists who put hours and hours and hours of painstaking work, practice, years of sacrifice, years of doing their craft, perfecting the craft, sharing it with other people, taking little bits here and there, getting coaching, getting teaching, using their own creativity on top of that. These people just don't pop up. You don't just become a rock star overnight. You become a master musician, and you just your style of music happens to be rock. You could probably be a master in any kind of music once you are putting that type of attention. Folks, you cannot be happy. And remember, happiness is also a key to weight loss or weight release. Why? Because it brings the stress level down. It allows you to sleep deeply, allows the body to regenerate. Again, do the raw food diet, but please, please, you cannot be living off of somebody else. You've got to be totally responsible for yourself unless you have some serious disability, and then we need to be healing that. Even if it's a mental or physical disability, then we work on healing that with the raw food diet, with the herbs, herbal tonics, with the knowledge that you apply. But please get some knowledge, get on the raw food diet, 90 straight days. I guarantee you it's the best thing that you ever did. You will drop the fat, you will drop the toxins, you will reduce your toxic load, you will become more alkaline, you will become more oxygenized, you will become more energized, you will become more focused. And you're doing this why? Why are you losing weight in the first place? Why are you going on a raw food diet? Why are you trying to reach maximum health in the first place? Why? We trying to reach maximum health just for the hell of it? No. So you can go live your dreams. That's the focus. So you've got to have the dream, folks. Clear, clear, clear. This has to really get through to you. If you are dreamless, if you are passionless, if you don't have something that you're willing to die for, if you don't have something that you have dedicated your life to, your life ain't worth living. Go find it, because you're not going to do any of this other stuff if you don't have a purpose to your life. You've got to plug into that electrical charge, positive energy. You've got to plug in to your dreams. You got to plug into what you want to do. So this guy wants to be a rock star. I said, how many hours a day are you practicing the guitar? Oh, I just pick it up every once a week or so. I said, then you don't want to be a rock star. And this is the thinking of people. Magical thinking. Watching too much damn television with too many movies and thinking that, things will just, happen magically. No. Listen, I didn't get to where I am, which is very successful right now, by sitting on my ass. But I chose to my goal was to become a master of the healing arts. And so I went to medical school. I went to schools of metaphysics. I went to detox programs to learn how to do detoxification. I went to schools of naturopathic medicine from the best, by the way, to learn how to do it the proper way. And then I applied it to myself. I applied it to other people, my family, my patients. Watch them bloom, watch them get better. But that was my passion. That's what I plugged into. Also, I have another passion, which is sports, basketball. And so now I'm getting older, and I'm still playing, by the way, and I can still play with 20-year-olds. Just came from the courts the other day, but now I know how to take care of my body a lot better. Inflammation stays down. The joints don't break down. They regenerate. You can actually sort of turn back the clock a little bit with the raw food diet. But I also love to coach. Again, it's more of me who's the teacher, right? What is the coach other than a teacher? So I teach the principles of sports, in this case basketball, so that's what I study the most and know the most, and have really gotten into the details of basketball coaching, which is a whole lot different than playing, by the way. But these are my passions, right? Music is also a passion of mine. I play the bass guitar, I play the keyboards, and I play the congas and a little bit of drums. I'm teaching my 5-year-old now how to do that. I'm teaching her how to be a naturopath too. These are, and how to heal herself. But you've got to plug into something positive, otherwise you won't have a purpose to go on a raw food diet. You're not going to have a purpose to become disciplined. You're not going to have that boost in the morning. And see, everybody wants to go out and, these sex seminars and make a lot of money and sell. No, you may not be good at selling real estate. That may not be your thing. It probably isn't most people's thing. You got to find out what your thing is, man, and go do it. You can't waste time. The time is now. I don't care what age you are. You may be 95. If you haven't found your passion, now's the time to find it. You can be 25. If you haven't found your passion, now's the time to find it. Find out what you want to become good at, and then do it. And you're going to have to put a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of focus into it. That's why I tell people you shouldn't be getting married and having, I didn't get married till I was 40. Didn't have a kid till I was 49. And so I got a 5-year-old, so that tells you how old I am. But no, I had to be fully into my dream. There's no time for could I have girlfriends? Yeah, did I have a good sexual life? Yeah, of course. But when you're talking about a commitment, you're talking about teamwork, and even then, if you're on a rapid growth pace and the other person is not growing rapidly, the relationship's going to fail anyway. So be careful who you decide to saddle up with. And it's not that simple. But the thing is, no matter if the relationship fails, your dream never fails. See, because what it is that you're really about, the thing that brings you really the joy and the happiness that you can share with somebody else to build a positive relationship. Because if you're not living your dreams, you don't have that positive energy to share with somebody else. You're actually trying to take somebody else's energy. I call them energy parasites. Again, it relates to optimal health. It relates to fat release, weight loss. Trust me, you cannot be happy. You're not going to do these things. So they do take some discipline. They do take some understanding. It does take some application. It does take some study. You can't just watch one video and think that you're going to be off to the races. No, you're going to have to put some time and energy into it. But what's going to make you do the quote, the sacrifice? And it's really not a sacrifice. I mean, once you really get into the raw food diet, it's not even a diet. It's a lifestyle. I should call it a raw food lifestyle. It's a whole different way of turning the whole standard American diet upside down, throwing it out of the window, and getting back to what Mother Nature's all about. Once you have done that, you're going to find it doesn't really take a whole lot of discipline. Actually, when you go off the wagon for a little while, and all of us do, and so do I, screw up, you're right back on that raw food diet because you see, oh my God, I gotta come back. It's causing too much of a problem. You can sense it within yourself, and you also become much more sensitive to what's going on inside of your body, what's going on with you intuitively. Yes, the raw food diet brings your energy level up and also brings your own sense of intuition up. So there's a spiritual side of the raw food diet, an energetic side, that sun energy side, but it goes much deeper than that. It goes to the core of who we are energetically. So raw food diet, please study it. I like to call it the raw food lifestyle. Weight loss, we don't talk about weight loss anymore. We talk about fat release. We don't worry about the scales. It will happen, but again, do you have a dream? Do you have something you're passionate about? Do you have something that you're willing to sacrifice for? Do you have a reason to get up, a sense of purpose? You better plug into that because, again, what's the sense of attaining maximum health or optimal health, dropping the pounds, stopping the suffering, if you're not going to do something with it? Right? So you got to have a reason and a purpose. And this is the key to happiness, and it may be the key to all of life. Please go find that dream. Go do the raw food diet. Go do some research. I'll be coming up with some more videos to help you out. Always going to lend a helping hand. All right. Power to the people. Remember, take the power back. Put it in your hands. Right. Take the personal responsibilities. Time to grow up. All right. No longer acting like a little kid, going to daddy the doctor who tells you what to do and you go do it and then screw yourself up. No more vitamin isolates, no more toxic crap. Raw food diet, start with that. It's simple. Start with it. I shouldn't even have to be selling on you. Go do it for 90 days. Folks, in 2 weeks you're going to notice the difference. In a month you're going to notice a big difference. And now you're going to change your taste buds, your whole energetics, your whole way of interacting with nutrition changes. And trust me on this, it changes. All right, all these little problems start to go away. All the little aches and pains start to go away. Everything starts to come out of the system. All these toxins start to come out of the system, and so does the fat. So I'm going to end it here. I think this is probably longer than I wanted it to go, but guess what? A lot has to be said sometimes because we can't just talk about weight loss in a vacuum. It is part of really of total health. And always when we have a problem, an isolated problem, we got to go look at the total picture, right? The big picture is really what counts, and then these little things that seem to be stumping us, they go away once we learn the magic and the secrets of optimum total life, the art of healing, right? And remember, healing is an art. I got to stop because I can go on forever. There's always the next video. Peace, power, prosperity, and most of all, love to you and your families. And thank you for allowing me to be your humble servant. And goodbye until next time. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Appreciate it. Bye now.